The war between humans and the Zayari Empire had lasted for many years. Countless battles had been fought in space and on distant worlds. Ships were destroyed, colonies burned, and armies fell on both sides. Yet somehow humanity endured. Even when outnumbered, humans did not surrender. They built traps, they used clever tactics, and they survived when no one believed they could. To the Zayari, who had ruled many star systems for centuries, humans were both stubborn and puzzling. Rian was not a soldier. He was a simple worker from a mining colony who had been caught when the Zayari raided his station. Many of his friends were taken as prisoners and some were sent away to camps. Ryan expected the same fate. Instead, he found himself inside the grand halls of the Zayari flagship. It was unlike anything he had ever seen. The corridors were wide, glowing with pale light that came from crystals set into the walls. Strange patterns ran across the floor, as if the very ship itself was alive. Guards in shining armor stood at every corner, their weapons held with precision. He was pushed forward by two tall Zayari soldiers. Their eyes were narrow and golden, their skin a deep shade of blue. They said nothing to him, only gestured for him to move. Rian felt his heart beat faster. He wondered what the aliens wanted from a miner like him. He had no secrets, no weapons, no power. He was just one human among many. The soldiers stopped at a large door made of black metal. It slid open with a low hum. Inside was a throne room, vast and silent. The ceiling stretched high, covered with banners that displayed symbols Rian did not understand. At the far end sat a figure taller than any other. She wore a suit of heavy armor, silver mixed with shades of emerald. A great chest plate covered her torso, carved with lines and markings that seemed old as if they carried history within them. Her crown was sharp, made of crystal shards that glowed faintly. This was the Zayari Queen. Her presence filled the room. She did not move at first. She only studied Rian as if measuring him with her gaze. Her voice, when it came, was calm yet strong. "Human," she said, her words carefully shaped in the common tongue. "You are not soldier. You are not commander. You are worker." Rian swallowed, unsure what answer she wanted. "Yes," he said simply. His voice sounded small in the great chamber. The queen leaned forward slightly. The light glimmered off her chest plate. Dust and scratches marked the surface, scars from battles fought across the stars. "Can you clean this for me?" she asked. Rian blinked. He thought he had misheard her. Of all the things the alien queen could have demanded, she asked him to clean her armor. The soldiers behind him stiffened. To them the request was strange as well. But the queen's golden eyes remained on him, waiting. Rian nodded slowly. "I can try," he said. At a signal from the queen, a servant placed tools and cloths at his feet. They were alien tools, shaped differently from what he knew, but their purpose was clear. Rian picked one up, his hands trembling slightly. He stepped closer to the queen, who allowed him to approach. The chest plate loomed before him, vast and decorated with symbols. Some of the marks looked like stars, others like animals or blades. Many were dulled with dirt, their meaning hidden beneath layers of time. He began to wipe carefully, moving with patience. At first he only cleared the dust. Then he noticed how the carvings slowly appeared. He leaned closer, studying them. Each line told something, perhaps a story. Without thinking, he whispered, "These are not just designs. They are memories." The queen tilted her head. "You see that?" Rian froze, afraid he had spoken out of place. "Yes, they look like stories carved in metal." For a moment, the queen said nothing. Then a faint sound escaped her lips, not quite laughter, but close. No servant of mine has ever noticed. "They polish. They shine. But they do not see," Rian continued, encouraged by her words. He traced one mark with his cloth. "This one looks like a ship, and here, it looks like fire." The queen watched with interest. "That is the memory of our first great victory. We burned the sky of a rival world. These marks honor that day." Rian nodded. He did not praise the victory, but he respected the meaning. His hands moved carefully, removing dust without scratching the surface. The symbols grew clear again. The queen leaned back on her throne. Her voice was softer now. "You are simple human, yet you notice more than others. Tell me, why do you clean with such care?" Rian hesitated. "Because it matters to you. These marks tell your history. If I do not clean them with care, I would be erasing what they stand for." Silence filled the hall. Even the guards seemed surprised by his answer. The queen studied him for a long time. "Strange human," she finally said. "You are not strong. You are not trained. Yet you give respect to what others overlook." Ryan lowered his eyes, unsure if this was good or bad. He kept cleaning, focusing on the chest plate. As he worked, he felt calmer. His hands grew steady. Each mark he revealed seemed to glow faintly, as if pleased to be seen again. The Queen allowed him to finish a whole section of the armor. When he stepped back, the chest plate shone brighter, the carvings alive once more. The Queen placed her hand over the polished surface. For a moment, her fierce expression softened. She looked not like a ruler, but like a being remembering her past. "Enough for today," she said. "Guards, take him back." The soldiers moved forward, but the Queen raised her hand. "Wait, human, tell me your name." Ryan straightened. "My name is Rian." The Queen nodded once. "Ryan, you will return tomorrow." He was led out of the hall, his heart racing. He did not know why the alien Queen wanted him to clean her chest plate, but he felt something important had begun. Far away from his home, in the heart of enemy power, Ryan had been given a strange role. He was not warrior, not leader, yet his hands had touched the armor of the Queen herself. The war still raged, but within that throne room something different had started, something neither side had expected. The next day, Rian was brought again to the grand hall of the Zayari Queen. He walked with steady steps this time, though his heart still pounded in his chest. The guards remained as silent as ever, but he noticed how their golden eyes followed him with suspicion. To them, he was still a weak human, unworthy of standing near their queen. Yet the Queen herself had called him, and her command was law. When the great doors opened, the throne room was quieter than before. The banners hung still, and the pale light of the crystals cast soft shadows on the polished floor. The Queen sat on her throne wearing the same heavy armor. The chest plate shone brighter where Ryan had cleaned the day before, and the carvings stood out like glowing rivers across silver stone. She raised her hand slightly as he entered. "Ryan," she said, "you kept your promise." "You returned." Ryan bowed his head. "You asked me to, my Queen?" Her golden eyes narrowed, but not in anger. "Most humans resist. Most humans refuse. Yet you obey without fear." "I was taught," Rian answered, "that sometimes strength is not only in fighting. Sometimes strength is in doing small tasks with respect." The Queen regarded him carefully, then gestured to her side. A servant placed a new set of tools there. "Today you will clean the right side of my chest plate," she said. "But this time you will tell me what you see." Ryan stepped closer. The metal surface bore new patterns, faint under layers of dust and battle marks. He began to wipe gently. Slowly, curved lines appeared, forming shapes like circles within circles. He spoke quietly. "These circles look like stars. Perhaps a system of worlds." The Queen's voice was calm. "Yes. That is the memory of our first expansion beyond our homeworld. We reached the stars and claimed new lands. That day is carved here." Ryan nodded, continuing his work. His cloth moved carefully across the surface, revealing more lines. "Here it looks like two figures standing together." "That," said the Queen, "is the mark of alliance. Long ago we joined with another race. They swore loyalty, and together we defeated a rival. But alliances fade. They broke their word, and we crushed them." Her tone was sharp at the last words, and Ryan felt the weight of her history. He thought before speaking. "The marks are not just for glory. They are warnings too." The Queen tilted her head slightly. "You understand more than I expected." "Yes, each mark is not only triumph, it is memory of both gain and loss." Ryan continued cleaning. He felt a strange respect growing within him. These were not just decorations. They were pieces of a life, etched into armor that had seen centuries. As he uncovered each mark, it was as if he touched a page of a book that few had read. The Queen leaned forward. "Tell me, human, do your people carve their victories on armor?" Ryan shook his head. "Not like this. Some carve names on stone or write in books. Some keep flags or medals. But most humans carry memories in their hearts. We do not always show them on the outside." The Queen studied him. "Strange. To hide history within the mind instead of displaying it with pride." Ryan smiled faintly. "Sometimes memories are heavy. Some prefer to carry them quietly." The Queen was silent for a long time. She touched the part of the chest plate he had polished the day before. "Your words are unlike the words of my lords. They always speak of power, of conquest, of strength. But you speak of care, of memory, of burden. Why?" Ryan lowered his eyes. "Because I am not a soldier. I am only a worker. I have seen people live and struggle, not only fight. For me, strength is not only in battle. The queen leaned back in her throne, her gaze thoughtful. Perhaps that is why I chose you. Ryan stopped his work for a moment, surprised. You chose me? Yes, she said simply. When you were captured, I watched you. You did not curse. You did not beg. You stood silent, calm even in chains. I saw patience in you. Patience is rare. Ryan did not know what to say. He returned to polishing the armor, uncovering more of the designs. Each curve, each symbol revealed something of the Zayari past. He realized that no one else in the room seemed to care about these marks. The guards stood stiff. The servants looked away, but the queen watched every movement of his hand as if it mattered more than all the treasures in the room. After a while, she spoke again. Do you fear me, human? Ryan paused. He thought carefully before answering. I respect you. Fear is there, but respect is stronger. The queen's eyes glimmered. Respect without fear is foolish. Fear without respect is weak. You walk a path between. Ryan nodded slightly. He kept working until the entire side of the chest plate shone. The patterns of stars, alliances, and wars gleamed once more, telling their stories in silent strength. When he stepped back, the queen rose from her throne. The hall grew tense as the guards shifted uneasily. It was rare for the queen to stand in the presence of a human, but she stood tall, her armor glowing where he had polished it. She placed her hand over the restored carvings. For many years, these marks were hidden by time. Now they live again. You have given back what even my own servants failed to see. Ryan bowed his head. I only cleaned. The stories were already there. Her golden eyes softened for the first time. Perhaps, but without you, they would remain forgotten. The guards exchanged uncertain glances. They could not understand why the queen valued the work of a simple human. But none dared question her. The queen returned to her throne and spoke with authority. Ryan, you will not be sent to the mines. You will not be placed in the camps. You will remain here. Each day you will clean, and each day you will tell me what you see. Ryan was stunned. He had expected death, or at least chains. Instead, he was being given a strange duty, one that carried meaning he could not yet understand. Yes, my queen, he said quietly. The queen dismissed the guards with a wave of her hand. As they led Ryan out, she watched him go, her expression unreadable. That night in his small chamber, Ryan lay awake thinking of the carvings. He remembered the circles of stars, the figures of alliance, the flames of war. He realized the queen was not only asking him to clean. She was asking him to see her past, to understand her people, and perhaps in some hidden way she was testing him. He wondered why. Why would the ruler of a vast empire choose a simple human miner to uncover her history? Was it curiosity? Was it strategy? Or was it something else entirely? As he closed his eyes, one thought remained. The war still raged outside these walls, but here, inside the throne room, he had begun a strange path. His hands had touched the history of the Zayari queen, and his words had reached her in ways her own lords could not. And though he was still a prisoner, Ryan felt a quiet strength stirring within him. The following morning, Ryan was brought once again into the great throne room. By now, he knew the path well. The wide corridors, the silent guards, and the glowing crystals no longer seemed as overwhelming as they had at first. Still, his heart beat faster as the doors opened and he stepped inside. The queen was already seated on her throne, her tall frame covered in silver and emerald armor. The parts he had polished in the last 2 days shone clearly, their carvings alive with detail. Her golden eyes followed him as he walked forward and bowed his head. Ryan, she said, her voice steady, you return again. That is good, Ryan raised his eyes. You asked me to, my queen. She studied him for a moment, then gave a slight nod. A servant placed new tools before him, and this time, instead of the chest plate, the queen pointed to her shoulder guards. The metal there was cracked with deep scratches from old battles. Clean this, she said, but also tell me what you think it means. Ryan picked up the cloth and began his work. The surface was rougher than before, scarred by blows that even polishing could not erase. As he brushed away the dust, he saw markings shaped like blades crossing one another. He spoke softly. These look like duels. A battle fought close, the queen leaned forward. Correct. That mark is the memory of a duel I fought long ago. An enemy challenged my right to lead. We fought until one fell. I struck the final blow. Ryan cleaned slowly, revealing the full shape of the duel mark. The scar over it, he said, shows where the armor was struck. It reminds me that even victory leaves marks behind. The Queen tilted her head. You see more than I say? Ryan hesitated, then answered, I think every scar, every crack is also part of the story. If you covered them, the armor would look perfect, but it would not be true. The scars show the cost of each memory. The Queen's eyes glimmered with something like surprise. Most who serve me speak only praise. They say I am flawless, unbroken. Yet you tell me my scars have meaning. Ryan met her gaze briefly. Because they do. Perfection is not strength. Enduring after scars, that is strength. A silence filled the hall. The guards stood still, but their eyes shifted toward Ryan. It was bold for a human prisoner to speak so directly to the Queen. Yet she did not seem angered. Instead, she touched the scar on her shoulder guard, running her hand slowly across it. You speak without fear, she said. You do not flatter. You do not try to win favor. You give truth. Ryan bowed slightly. I do not know how to give anything else. The Queen regarded him closely. For the first time, her voice softened. Perhaps that is what makes humans difficult. You are fragile, yet your words carry weight. He continued polishing, his hand steady. As he worked, the Queen began to speak again, this time telling more than just the meaning of the marks. She spoke of her youth, of the training she endured, of the battles where she had proved herself before the elders of her race. Her words flowed with pride, but also with something deeper, a note of memory that carried both triumph and burden. Ryan listened without interrupting. When she paused, he said only, It must have taken great courage to face so much. The Queen gave a faint smile, though it was sharp as a blade. Courage, yes. But also fear. Fear drives courage. Without fear, courage is only empty noise. Ryan nodded slowly. That is true for humans, too. We fear, but we move forward anyway. Her golden eyes studied him with curiosity. Do your people honor their leaders as we do? Ryan thought for a moment. Some do. Some leaders are remembered with statues or stories, but humans do not always honor strength alone. Sometimes we honor kindness or sacrifice. Sometimes even simple people with no throne are remembered. The Queen's brows narrowed. Strange. Why honor weakness? Because, Ryan said quietly, to us it is not weakness. A mother who works for her children, a farmer who grows food for a village, a healer who saves lives without a weapon, those are also strong in their own way. The Queen did not answer at once. She leaned back, her expression unreadable. The hall was silent except for the sound of Ryan's cloth against metal. Finally, she spoke. Your view of strength is unlike mine, yet it is. Interesting. Ryan finished the shoulder guard and stepped back. The marks of duels and scars were clear now, each line visible, each crack shining in its own way. The Queen rose from her throne again, standing tall. She placed her hand over the polished shoulder, her golden eyes thoughtful. No one has spoken to me like this before. My lords tell me only what I wish to hear. You, a human worker, tell me what I do not expect. Ryan lowered his head. Perhaps it is because I have nothing to gain. I am only doing the task you gave me. Yet your task is more than cleaning, the Queen said. You reveal meaning. You remind me of things forgotten. The guards shifted uneasily. One of them finally spoke, his voice low but firm. My Queen, this human is bold. He speaks too freely. Shall I silence him? The Queen turned her gaze sharply toward the guard. No, his boldness is what makes him useful. Do not question my choice. The guard bowed quickly, stepping back into silence. The Queen looked at Ryan again. You are tested each day, human. So far you have not failed. But know this. Your words may one day weigh as heavily as your hands. Be ready. Ryan nodded quietly. He felt the weight of her words, though he did not fully understand them yet. When he was led back to his chamber, he thought about what had happened. Each day with the Queen was more than just cleaning armor. Each day she revealed a part of her life, her victories, her scars. And each day she asked him not just to polish, but to speak. He realized this was no ordinary duty. It was a test of respect, of honesty, perhaps even of trust. As he lay in the dim light of his small room, Ryan wondered what the Queen truly sought. Did she want only to hear truths from an outsider? Or was she searching for something deeper, something even her own people could not give her? Whatever the reason, he knew one thing with certainty. Tomorrow she would test him again, and he would need not only steady hands but steady words as well. The days passed quickly in the vast corridors of the Zayari flagship. Each morning Ryan was brought before the Queen, and each day his hands moved over the armor, uncovering histories long hidden. But as his work continued, the whispers among the alien lords grew louder. They had begun to question the Queen's judgment. Rian noticed their glances whenever he entered the throne room. The lords, clad in shining armor adorned with medals of conquest, often leaned close to one another to murmur in low voices. Their expressions were sharp, and their eyes flicked to the human with a mixture of disbelief and disdain. One morning, as Ryan prepared to clean a large pauldron on the Queen's left shoulder, a group of lords entered the hall. Their footsteps echoed ominously across the polished floor. The Queen watched them without a word, her hands resting lightly on her throne. "My Queen," one of the lords began, his voice cold and commanding, "why do you allow this human to approach you? He is not a soldier, not a scholar, not a commander. He is a worker. What wisdom can he offer that we, your lords, cannot?" Ryan froze for a brief moment, unsure if he should speak. The Queen raised her hand. "Silence," she said firmly. "He is here because I chose him. Do not question me." The lords exchanged glances but stepped back. Their pride was wounded, but they dared not challenge her openly. The Queen turned her gaze toward Rian. "Today the left shoulder," she said. "It is damaged, scarred. Restore it as you did the others and tell me what you see." Rian nodded quietly. He approached the armor slowly, feeling the weight of many eyes upon him. The surface was rough, etched with deep marks that told of countless battles. He began to wipe away the dust and grime, revealing the symbols beneath. "What do you see, human?" the Queen asked as she observed. Rian studied the lines carefully. "These marks? They tell of defense," he said. "Not attack, but protection. Whoever wore this armor stood to guard something important. Each strike seems meant to break the shield, yet it held." The Queen inclined her head. "Yes, that is true. Each scratch is a memory of a defense I led, battles where we protected our people rather than conquer new lands." The lords frowned. One of them whispered to another, "He speaks like a poet, not a servant. His words carry weight. Why does she value this?" Ryan continued his work, revealing a large carving of a creature that resembled a predator from the Queen's homeworld. Its claws had scratched the armor in life or in memory, leaving permanent marks. Ryan traced the lines with care. "This," he said, "shows a challenge faced and survived. It is not victory that is remembered, but endurance. The one who wore this armor survived against the odds." The Queen's eyes shone. "You understand what many fail to see. My lords speak of glory. You speak of truth." The lords shifted uneasily. One stepped forward, his voice firmer this time. "My Queen, he is bold. If he misjudges, what will become of your history? Should we not control what is spoken?" The Queen's gaze was sharp, unwavering. "No, he speaks honestly. That is why he is here. Strength is not only in control. Strength is in discernment." Ryan felt a mixture of awe and fear. The alien lords had always been merciless, their judgments absolute. Yet here the Queen had given him a voice, a role that mattered. He did not know why she trusted him so, but he resolved to honor it. As he polished the last section of the pauldron, he noticed the depth of the carvings. One figure stood alone, facing multiple foes. The armor around it was cracked and dented. This figure, Ryan said, stood alone to protect others. Alone, yet unbroken. "That is courage." The Queen's voice was softer now. "Few humans would notice such detail. Most only see the shine or the damage. You see the story behind it." One of the lords muttered under his breath. "This human is dangerous. He may only be a worker, yet his words inspire more than the council ever could." Ryan finished his work and stepped back. The polished pauldron gleamed, and the carvings told their stories clearly. The Queen placed her hand upon it, her golden eyes scanning the armor. "For centuries, my people have seen strength as conquest, as victory over others. But endurance, care, respect, these are also strength. He has reminded me of this." The lords looked on in silence. Some were skeptical, some annoyed, but none could challenge her openly. The Queen turned toward Rian. "Tomorrow you will clean the chest plate again. The task will be harder. Some sections are damaged in ways no tool can fully restore. Yet I believe you will find a way." "Yes, my Queen," Ryan said humbly. As he left the throne room that day, he walked through the corridors with a new understanding. His presence had stirred doubt among the lords, yet it had also brought him closer to the Queen. He realized that his task was no longer simple polishing. It had become a bridge between humans and the Zayari, a demonstration of what a human could offer beyond strength or weapons. That night, he thought of the alien lords. They had power, skill, and knowledge, but they lacked the patience to notice the small truths that shaped history. Ryan understood that was his advantage. In his simple way, he could reveal things others ignored. His hands, quiet and careful, carried more weight than any sword he could hold. The next day, Ryan returned to the throne room. The Queen was already seated, and the Lords stood waiting. The Queen gestured to the damaged section of her chest plate, where deep dents and scratches crossed the metal. "This is a challenge beyond polishing. It is a test of perception and skill. Show me what you can do." Ryan approached, his hand steady. He ran the cloth over the metal, feeling its grooves and curves. The carvings beneath the damage were faint yet visible. With patience, he worked to uncover their shapes, revealing the stories they held. "This section," he said softly, "shows strategy. Each mark is not random. It tells where the wearer moved, how they defended, how they protected others. Even in damage, the story remains." The Queen's golden eyes shone with approval. "Correct. Most would see only scars and flaws. You see purpose." The Lords remained silent, their pride wounded, their authority challenged by a human. One of them whispered to another, "We are no longer the sole keepers of wisdom in this hall. A worker speaks truths that even the Queen values." The Queen watched Ryan finish the section, her expression unreadable yet thoughtful. When he stepped back, the chest plate gleamed, the carvings clear and powerful. She placed her hand on the armor. "You have done well, human. Not only have you restored the armor, but you have reminded me of the value of observation, care, and understanding. My lords may doubt, yet I do not." The human Rian had become more than a worker in the eyes of the Queen. His hands, his patience, and his honesty had earned a place of respect that no soldier, scholar, or lord had achieved. In that moment, he realized that strength came in many forms. And though the alien lords whispered among themselves, plotting how to regain influence, the Queen had already made her choice. Humanity had proven through a single human worker that courage, patience, and wisdom were as powerful as any weapon in the galaxy. Ryan left the throne room that day with a quiet pride. The challenge was far from over. The Lords would continue to watch him, to doubt him, to question his place. But he also knew something they could not understand. Humans, even simple ones, could change perception with patience, honesty, and courage. And as he returned to his chamber, he felt a new sense of purpose. Each day he touched the Queen's armor. He was not only cleaning metal, he was shaping understanding, building respect, and proving that humans were not weak but capable of great influence in ways others did not yet see. The day had come. Rian walked through the corridors of the Zayari flagship with careful steps. Word had spread that the Queen would hold a gathering for all the lords of her empire. It was rare for humans to be present at such events, and Ryan knew every eye would be on him. Yet he walked calmly, knowing his work and honesty had brought him to this point. The throne room was larger than ever. The walls gleamed with crystal light, and the banners of conquered and allied worlds hung from the high ceiling. The alien lords had assembled, their golden eyes fixed on the Queen. They murmured among themselves, some openly skeptical, others quietly curious. The Queen sat tall upon her throne, her armor polished and gleaming. The chestplate and shoulder guards Ryan had cleaned shone in full splendor, the carvings alive with history. Every mark told a story of battles, alliances, courage, and endurance. The Queen's expression was calm, her golden eyes bright. Yet there was an unusual warmth in them as she looked toward the human. "Ryan," she said, her voice carrying clearly through the hall. "Today you will stand with me. You have labored not only to clean, but to understand. You have seen what others ignore. You have spoken truth where others flatter. Your hands and words have restored more than armor. You have restored meaning." Ryan bowed, his heart steady. "Thank you, my Queen. I only followed your request." The Queen's eyes softened. "No, you followed more than a request. You followed honor, and that is why I call you before my lords today." The lords shifted uneasily. Some tried to hide their surprise, but their whispers were audible. A human in the throne room? What is she doing? The Queen raised her hand and the hall fell silent. "These lords question the value of one human. They doubt your judgment, yet I have chosen wisely. This human has proven courage and patience, strength in honesty, and wisdom in observation. He reminds us that power is not only conquest or command, it is understanding, care, and endurance." The lords remained quiet, but their expressions betrayed disbelief. They had always judged humans as weak and simple. Now standing in the Queen's hall, one human had earned her respect. Rian stepped forward. He looked at the Queen's armor, the carvings, and then at the lords who had doubted him. "I'm only a human," he said clearly. "I have no army, no weapons, no power here. But I have hands, patience, and honesty. That is what you see in the armor. That is what the Queen asked me to show. And if one human can honor your history, others can honor it too." The Queen nodded slowly. "Well spoken. You do not boast. You do not seek reward. That is why your words carry weight." The lords exchanged uneasy glances. None had expected this. The human spoke not with fear, nor with flattery, but with dignity. Slowly their whispers faded as the Queen raised her hand again. "Today," she said, "we honor not only our victories, but the courage to see truth. This human has done what many of my own people could not. He has reminded us that history, honor, and memory are not only carried by rulers or warriors, but also by those willing to see them." Ryan's heart pounded, but he kept his composure. The Queen stepped down from her throne and approached the armor he had polished. She placed her hands on the chest plate, letting the light of the hall shine across it. "Behold," she said to all who watched, "the armor restored not by my greatest lords, but by a human. Each mark, each scar, each story is clear because of him. His care and observation have brought life back to our history." A hush filled the room. The lords could not find words. Some looked down, some stared, but none could challenge her declaration. The Queen then turned fully toward Rian. "Your reward is not gold, nor title, nor rank. It is respect and recognition of what humans can do. You have proven that even the smallest acts, done with honesty and care, can change perception. You have reminded me that strength has many forms." Rian bowed deeply. "I am honored, my Queen. I only wish to do what was right." The Queen smiled faintly, the light catching on her armor. "That is enough. That is everything." One of the lords finally spoke, though his voice was subdued. "If a human can do this, perhaps our judgment of them must change." Another added, "Perhaps strength is more than conquest. Perhaps we have been blind." The Queen nodded. "See and learn. Today we recognize not only one human but all humanity. They are capable of patience, honesty, and courage in ways we have overlooked. Let this be a lesson to those who doubt them." Ryan felt a quiet pride. He had not fought battles with weapons, yet his actions had carried more weight than many soldiers. His careful work, his honesty, and his courage in speaking truth had changed the view of an entire alien empire. Humanity had gained respect where few expected it. The Queen then addressed the assembly once more. "From this day, humans will not be treated as mere workers, captives, or weaklings. They are allies capable of honor, patience, and wisdom. Ryan has proven this with nothing but his hands, his mind, and his words. Let this be remembered as a turning point." The hall remained silent, but the weight of her words settled over everyone. Even the lords who had doubted her choice understood the truth. The human before them had done what many of them could not. The Queen placed her hand lightly on Ryan's shoulder. "You will continue your work, human, but now you do so with the knowledge that you have earned respect. Not just from me, but from all who witness this. You have changed the way we see humans." Rian bowed again, humbled. "I will do my best, my Queen." The Queen stepped back, allowing the light to shine fully on her polished armor. "Let it be known," she said, "that even the smallest actions done with care and honesty can inspire greatness. Humanity is not weak. It is strong in ways we are only beginning to understand." As the assembly dispersed, Rian walked through the hall, no longer feeling like a simple worker. He had earned his place in the Queen's presence, and his actions had brought respect to all humans. He realized that courage did not always mean fighting. It could mean speaking truth, showing care, and performing tasks with honor. That evening, as he returned to his quarters, he looked out at the stars beyond the flagship. Humanity's reach was still small in the vast galaxy, but he knew one thing: humans could earn trust, respect, and admiration, even among the greatest empires. They could show patience, courage, and understanding in ways that changed history without a single weapon fired. And somewhere on the throne room below, the Queen rested her hand on her chest plate, feeling the polish and care Rian had given. She had trusted him, and he had proven her right. Through this simple act, a human had changed the perception of an empire. The stars outside the flagship shone brighter than ever, as if acknowledging the quiet triumph of patience and honesty. Ryan smiled faintly, understanding that the journey had been more than cleaning armor. It had been the start of a shared future, one where humans could be seen not as weak, but as strong allies, capable of shaping the course of history with nothing but courage, care, and wisdom. In that moment, Ryan knew that humanity's place among the stars was not only deserved, but earned. And the galaxy, vast and full of challenges, had begun to see them differently.